Many thanks to everybody for their kind comments in yesterday's video. The Meditative Mind said, can we talk more about the fear of missing out? Meditative said, I've had to take so many people off the FOMO ledge this week. That feeling of missing out is a big problem, and it's exactly how the institutions draw you in to liquidate you. It's a really good topic to talk about. To master fear, there's 3 rules that you need to primarily look at. Rule 327, understanding masters fear. 328, learning creates understanding. And 329, only learning creates earning. Now, what does it all mean? 327, in order to master fear, you must have understanding. But how do we get understanding? 328, we must learn. And if we learn, what does that mean? That's the point at which we start earning. Let's practically apply those rules. We saw when Bitcoin was coming down, it did start to capitulate and it bottomed out. After all those exchanges and different scam artists got evicted from the crypto space. And when they did get evicted, what happened? We saw a big push up and then a near 23% retracement. Now, what does this mean? We came up basically to this previous high here, and we didn't just keep on going, as many people thought. We retraced. And where did we retrace down to? This base. So it's almost like on this side, we got up to here, retraced back to there. But when did we take off next? Throughout this period, and you can see this level of market structure. So when we retrace back there, we got just back to that peak. So it's pretty interesting. Got up to the peak, came back, came up, came back. You're getting the idea. And then we got to that level again, and what happened? Another just shy of 22% retracement. So what are we looking at? Nearly 23% retracement, nearly just a little over 20%, and about 22% retracement. And then things got really great, and we came back to this level, and when we got to that level, we came down a little over 21%. So what are you noticing? About 22, about say 21, about 22, about 22. Well, doesn't that mean if we're going to get a retracement, it could be about 22%? Around a 22% retracement would push price down to about 52,792. Unfortunately, this is a very low level of knowledge. It's something, but it's really low level. As we come up to the previous all-time high, as we've seen time and time again, we tend to get those retracements. So it's very important to understand where price can go down to. We may get it and we may not get it. And this is the thing that you have to be comfortable with, uncertainty. We always think from a 3-dimensional perspective, what if price goes up? What if price goes nowhere and consolidates? Or what if price goes down? And we hold those 3 positions simultaneously. We never say, oh, price must go up or it must go down. We simply look at the probabilities of the case, and the probabilities are getting quite high that we would be in for a retracement. But remember, probability is not certainty unless it's 100% probability. Ken, before you said this is a very low level of knowledge and understanding. Yes, it definitely is, because we need to look at the SLs or the Stanfield levels around this area of price. If it's the first time joining us, a very warm welcome, and you're probably saying, what the heck are SLs or Stanfield levels? When we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been trading since 2009, not 2022. It's been trading for much longer than that, in excess of 5,200 days. These SLs draw up what are called structural resistance and support lines through what is called the CTKS method, which is the world's most powerful smart money buy and sell level detection system. And we're going to look at those buy and sell levels now. It's all about understanding. So how do we understand where structural buy and sell levels are inside market structure? You can mark up your charts with the CTKS method, or you can just grab the monthly service indicator. Now, when we looked at price action in yesterday's video, it was hovering around 62,757. We talked about that structural resistance level at 64,200 and the probability that a lot of shorts would get liquidated. They did get liquidated, but a lot of longs got liquidated as well. And we saw the price pushed higher. I'll give you a bit of a helping hand when it comes to looking at structural levels. These structural levels around the 62,300 mark were very, very strong. There was a confluence of strong structural support levels. So when we came up and tapped that 64,200, even though we did get a sell down, that sell down was quickly pressured by the buyers who managed to maintain price and then push it through the 64,200 level. As I've been mentioning for the past couple of videos, any sell side action will be met by strong demand because we're seeing some fairly good things happening. Now, how do we explain what happened next? When we pass through the 64,200 mark, you can see that we just rallied up to the 64,800, which was the next level of structural resistance. And look at how this is tapped again and again and again. Also, we just came up through that 65 near 200 level of structural resistance. And what happened there, you can see the price coming through different ceilings had to have time to consolidate. There's a very simple understanding when it comes to structural support and structural resistance levels. If it's not going above, it's going below. If it doesn't get above, it's going below. But if it does get above, it's going to the next one. These kind of sweeps, you will always see these kind of sweeps, especially in a bull market, and they often invert in a bear market. What happened next? Okay, let's push this price forward and understand where these structural levels are. Just expanding this chart a little bit, I just want to give you a better picture of what's going on. A lot of people mistakenly think that there's only one level of structure inside a market. That's not true. When you're looking at so many days worth of data, you've got all sorts of different structure playing out. And we saw around that 65,900 mark that we pushed through that and then started to breach the 66,900 mark. Also notice that there's a lot of structural resistance here. What does that mean? The sellers are going to try everything to push Bitcoin's price down around these specific areas. And they did so to a degree, but not to much of a degree. And we've seen it coming up, getting retested, and seeking to get above right now. The current price on the time of this recording is 67,000, nearly 400, 67,400. With understanding, we're aware of what is going on inside the market. We're aware that we're coming up to a potential near 20% retracement area. But also, we must do three-dimensional risk management. We must think very carefully about how the structure inside the market is actually moving. If you have the indicator from the service, just pop it on and you'll see the higher levels. If you've not updated your indicators, just simply remove it and add it from the invite-only scripts. What we're seeing right now is this 66,900 mark is the absolute key level for the bulls to maintain. If they start to drop below this, that could throw negative pressure. But the good news is there's still a fair amount of structural support, at least down to the 64,190 area. Now, if the bulls gain control, and we may get a degree of consolidation because this is a pretty tiring move for the bulls to do. They've smashed through so many sell levels that they may have to take a bit of a breather. With our three-dimensional risk management, we can say that we could come up to this 61,900 mark, and there's a bit of a positive fresh air gap there. That could be a very, very nice move. With the CTKS method, you can become aware of where these positive gaps in structural support and resistance exist, and it's the only method on earth that will show you. If you're sick of fear, you must have understanding of structural support and structural resistance levels. If you don't have this, you're always going to be freaked out. The million-dollar question that only you can answer. If price keeps on going up, what are you going to do? If price starts to come down, what are you going to do? You're the only person who can answer those questions because only you knows your financial situation. If you want to gain X-ray vision over where the structure is, you can't go any better than the CTKS method. It's going to help you out so incredibly. But can I just use exponential moving averages? Okay, let's look at them. Okay, what are the EMAs telling us? And you also get this indicator through the method service. They're indicating right now that the 12-period EMA or the 12-day EMA is a long way below price, as is the 26-period EMA, the 50, the 100, and the 200 is way down there. Okay, that's great, but where are the ceilings? How do you know? Is there really good structural support here or really weak? And what are the next levels? We can see that through the CTKS method. As a former lecturer in first and second year statistics, I can tell you there's a lot of problems with measures of central tendency. Hey, Ken, what the heck is that? Well, they're averages. Literally, the whole of finance is built on average behavior. These exponential moving averages, EMAs and SMAs, simple moving averages, are what people tend to use, but they get highly distorted if the variance is too great. Well, what's variance? It's an on average movement in price, which is greater than the average deviation. And what does that mean? It means simply that if price moves very quickly, the EMAs, and they're the most sensitive to price movement, they can't even catch up. They've got no hope. And what does this do for you anyway? It gives you an idea of where retail is looking for support, but it doesn't tell you where the resistance is. It doesn't tell you where fresh air gaps are and how big they are. Please let me know in the comments, where do you think Bitcoin's price is going to go next? It's a really important question. And how would you deal with the three scenarios? That is, Bitcoin's price tanks by 20%, Bitcoin's price rallies by 20%, and Bitcoin's price absolutely does nothing. And you start to see memes. Come on, Bitcoin, do something. If you would like the indicator that I show on the daily channel, you can just come across to CTKSMethod.org, just this website, just there. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and please keep those questions coming. I look forward to answering a new one in the next coming videos. Bye for now.